Hi teammates, my name is Kristen Epper and I am the founder of Work Like a Girl and you are watching Work Like a Girl Wednesday. So this is going to be the fourth and final, hooray, video about implicit bias. So just kind of a quick recap before we get to today's topic. So in our very first video, we talked about what implicit bias is and we were given the working definition, thoughts about other people that we didn't know that we have. In our second video, we talked about maternal bias and the fact that you do not need to be a mother to be impacted by maternal bias. And then last week, we talked about likability versus competent and the fact that men can be both while women have to actually choose between the two. So today, in our final video on implicit bias, we are going to talk about performance attributions. So let me kind of break this down into its simplest pieces, and then I'm going to illustrate with an example and we'll go a little bit further. So women are judged for their accomplishments, whereas men are judged for their potential. And this is true not just of women, this is true for minorities, both racial and religious minorities as well. So one of the ways in which they measured this and something that they looked at was with attorneys, which of course I am, so I love this example. But what happened was they gave briefs that a supposed associate had written to partners at a law firm, and they put a different name on the brief, same brief for everybody. But so for some people, they would put a white male, they would say this is a white male, this is a black male, this is a white female, this is a black female, whatever it happened to be. And what happened was the brief that was allegedly written by the white male, they were said to have potential. Oh, I can see where they were going with this. I like their line of thinking. They made a couple of mistakes, but that candidate has real potential. So they had given this fake bio for all the candidates. For the minorities and particularly the women, the same mistakes, same brief, they received feedback such as, I can't believe this person is in law school. Can she even write? She seems completely incompetent. I would never accept this type of work. Did you see this spelling mistake here? And their mistakes were disproportionately exaggerated as compared to the white male brief. And this is true when we look at the statistics with regard to women when they do group work. So if a woman makes a mistake, it's remembered for a longer period of time. If the group makes a mistake as a whole, it's disproportionately attributed to a woman in the group. So none of this is actually good news. One of the things that can help with this, though, is formal mentorship programs. So if we're looking at somebody's potential and we see their potential, and with another individual, we're looking only at their accomplishment, it really kind of begs this paradox. So if you don't see me as having any potential, how am I ever going to prove to you what I can actually accomplish? And this is what the data shows, that women are not given opportunities to show, what they can do. They're not provided with stretch assignments. They're not provided with the resources. And then they have this kind of backlash when it gets to annual reviews where they're receiving vague feedback. They're disproportionately told that they are aggressive or they speak too directly, even though that was the advice they might have received earlier. And one of the ways around this is really getting to know your coworkers on a personal level so that, and your, people that report to you on a personal level, so that you can advocate on their behalf when there is an opportunity for promotion or a stretch assignment or something that might be beyond the pay grade that as it exists now. So I mentioned formal mentorship programs because here's how this plays out if you're female. And we know by the data that, most of the decision makers, only 22% of executives are women. And as far as CEOs, there are actually more CEOs named John. About 5% of CEOs are named John versus the number of CEOs which are women, which is around 3%. So real statistic. Sad, but very, very true. So when we formalize this, there's no discussion of impropriety. And did you see her going into his office? They got coffee 4 times this week. And those types of discussions and those insinuations that might occur if it is a more casual relationship. So that's something that, I strongly advocate for, and creating policies around this that has a very finite and determined written list of criteria in order to get promotion and an exact method in which we can go through in order to reach those steps. So it's formalized, it's written down, and there are not these shades of gray, because a lot of times the language that we use to evaluate people is, I just really like him. I feel like I could have a beer with him. I like his style, or I don't like her style. She seems aggressive. I think she's a bitch. So when we're aware of this, then we can alert other people to it. Usually the way we want to do that is by asking questions rather than making assumptions and throwing accusations around. But knowledge is always power. So if you did find this video helpful, I invite you to share. And until next week, I'm Kristen Epper. Thanks for watching.